Your fridge isn't too small. It's just organized around the wrong question, and that one wrong question is quietly costing you hundreds of dollars a year in food you paid for and never ate. Most people assume the fix is a bigger fridge, a better container set, or finally sticking to a meal plan, and every single one of those fixes quietly misses the actual problem underneath it. In Japan, kitchens built around a handful of quiet daily rules almost never throw away spoiled food, not because the people running them are more disciplined than you, but because the system itself makes waste nearly impossible by default. Today, I'll walk you through 6 of those rules, habits many Americans work directly against every single week without ever realizing it, quietly throwing away a small fortune in food while genuinely believing they're simply being busy, not wasteful. Stay until the 6th, because it's the one that sounds like more work and is actually the one that saves the most money of all. Number 3 is something sitting in your fridge door right now that you haven't looked at in months. And number 4 is a habit that quietly undoes the other 5 if you skip it even once. Let's begin. Number 1, nothing is bought until there's a real, specific plan for it. Think about your last grocery trip honestly. A bag of spinach because it seemed healthy. A bundle of herbs for a recipe you haven't actually decided to make yet. A second jar of something because it was on sale. Here's the mechanism behind why this becomes waste almost automatically. Food bought without a specific meal already assigned to it has no deadline pulling it toward being used, so it simply waits in the crisper drawer until it's too far gone to save. And by then, the guilt of throwing it away is the only interaction it ever gets from you. A strange little ritual of good intentions followed by quiet disappointment, repeated week after week without anyone ever stopping to name it. In Japan, grocery shopping tends to follow the meal, not the other way around. A specific dinner is decided on first, and only then does the list get built around exactly what that dinner needs, which sounds almost too simple to matter until you realize it removes the entire category of purchase that causes most waste in the first place, the item bought on a hopeful whim with no actual destination. The shift, before you shop, decide on at least 3 specific meals for the week, and buy only what those 3 meals actually require, resisting the pull of anything that merely looks good in the moment. It feels restrictive the first few weeks, like you're missing out on spontaneity. But the spontaneity was never actually free. It was just an unpaid bill sitting in the crisper drawer, waiting to be thrown away 2 weeks later. Most people who try this for a full month are genuinely surprised by how much smaller their trash bag gets without doing anything else differently at all. That's number 1. Number 2 is storing everything by category instead of by how soon it needs to be eaten. Most refrigerators are organized the same way. Dairy on this shelf, vegetables in that drawer, meat wherever it fits, sorted purely by type with zero regard for which item is closest to going bad. Here's why this quietly guarantees waste. When everything is grouped by category rather than urgency, the item that's about to spoil sits buried behind 3 newer versions of the same thing, completely invisible until it's already too late to use, discovered only by accident, weeks later, usually while looking for something else entirely. In Japan, there's a simple daily habit of placing whatever needs to be eaten soonest directly at eye level, front and center, regardless of what type of food it is, treating urgency, not category, as the actual organizing principle of the entire fridge. The shift, every time you put something away, ask what needs to be used first, and physically place that item where your eyes land first when you open the door. This takes about 5 extra seconds each time you unpack groceries, and those 5 seconds are the entire difference between an ingredient getting used in tonight's dinner and that same ingredient turning into a science experiment 3 weeks from now. That's number 2. Number 3, the one sitting in your fridge door right now, condiments and sauces kept indefinitely, because a jar rarely looks obviously spoiled. A half-used jar of something from months ago doesn't scream danger the way spoiled meat does, so it just sits there, technically edible, functionally forgotten, taking up a permanent slot in a drawer that could be holding something you'll actually finish. Here's the quiet cost. Every forgotten jar isn't just wasted food, it's wasted space. And wasted space is exactly what pushes you to buy a second one of something you already technically own. A small, Invisible loop that repeats month after month without ever once announcing itself as a pattern. In Japan, the fridge door tends to hold far fewer items than an American one, on the logic that anything living there permanently should be earning its spot through actual regular use. The shift, once a month, pull every single jar out of the door and ask honestly whether it's been used in the last 4 weeks. If not, it either gets used this week or it goes. Most people who do this for the first time are shocked to find 6 or 7 jars they'd completely forgotten existed, quietly taking up the exact shelf space that could be holding food they actually intend to eat. That's number 3. Number 4 is cooking exact recipe amounts instead of exact fridge amounts. A recipe says 1 bunch of celery, so you buy 1 bunch, use 2 stalks, and the rest sits in the drawer slowly going soft and forgotten, an almost invisible tax paid on every single recipe you cook all year. Here's the better question nobody asks. Not what does the recipe call for, but what do I already have that's closest to going bad? And how can tonight's meal be built around using that up first? In Japan, this habit even has a name. Zero waste cooking built around what's called leftover first thinking, treating whatever's already open and aging as the actual starting ingredient, with the recipe adjusted around it rather than the other way around. So the recipe becomes a rough guide instead of a rigid instruction sheet that ignores what's actually sitting in your own kitchen. The shift before cooking anything: open the fridge first and build the meal around whatever's closest to spoiling, only shopping to fill in the gaps that are left over. It requires a small shift in how you think about cooking altogether, from what am I in the mood for tonight to what does my fridge actually need me to use tonight. And that second question, asked consistently, is the one doing almost all of the real work. That's number 4. Number 5 is treating expiration dates as a hard deadline instead of a rough guideline. The moment a date passes, most people toss the item without a second thought, even though the overwhelming majority of printed dates are about peak quality, not actual safety, and a huge amount of genuinely fine food ends up in the trash purely out of an overcautious reflex. Here's what actually determines whether something is still good: your own senses, smell, texture, and appearance, which are almost always more accurate than a date stamped weeks or months in advance by a factory that had no idea how your fridge would actually be run. In Japan, there's more trust placed in direct sensory judgment than in printed dates alone, since the person standing in front of the fridge with their own nose and eyes almost always has better information than a label printed weeks in advance under completely different storage conditions. The shift: before throwing something out purely because of a date, actually check it, smell it, look at it, and only then decide, rather than letting a number on a label make the decision for you automatically. This one habit alone, practiced consistently, has been estimated to save the average household a genuinely surprising amount of food a year, food that was still completely fine and simply got thrown out on a technicality. That's number 5. And number 6, the one that sounds like more work and actually saves the most money of all. A weekly fridge audit before the next grocery trip, 10 minutes, every single week, without exception. Here's the counterintuitive part. It feels like an extra chore stacked on top of an already busy week. But skipping it is exactly what causes the other 5 habits to quietly fall apart one at a time. Because without a regular check-in, forgotten items simply pile back up the way they always have. In Japan, this kind of small recurring reset is treated as part of the shopping process itself, not a separate task squeezed in around it. The audit happens, and only then does the next list get written, in that exact order, every single week, without exception. The same way you wouldn't leave the house without checking whether you actually need gas first. The shift: 10 minutes before every single grocery trip, walk through the fridge completely. Decide what needs to be used this week, and build your shopping list around clearing that out first. It's the single habit on this list most people skip when they're busy. And it's exactly the one that makes every other habit collapse the moment it's skipped. Because a fridge nobody's actually looking at quietly fills back up with forgotten things, no matter how carefully it was organized the week before. That's number 6, and it's the one quietly making the other 5 actually stick. So here's everything in one breath. Buy for a plan, not a feeling. Store by urgency, not category. Audit the door monthly. Cook from what's aging first. Trust your senses over the date stamp. And run a 10-minute fridge check before every single grocery trip. Now, as promised, here's a quick test that tells you exactly where your own waste is coming from. Right now, open your fridge and find the single oldest item in it. Ask yourself honestly, did I forget this existed, or did I know it was there and just avoid dealing with it? If you forgot, your problem is visibility. Start with Rule 2. If you knew and avoided it, your problem is the audit. Start with Rule 6. And if you genuinely can't remember the last time you did either, that alone probably tells you which one to fix first, before anything else on this list. None of this requires a bigger fridge, a meal planning app, or a single dollar spent on new containers. It requires 6 small habits, most of them a few minutes long, that quietly change what your kitchen throws away without you ever having to think about willpower at all. Pick just one of these 6 to start with this week, the one that felt easiest to imagine actually doing, not the one that feels most impressive. Add a second next week, and a third the week after that, until the whole system runs quietly in the background, without you ever needing to think of it as a system at all. Most households that eventually stop wasting food never do it through one dramatic pantry overhaul. They do it by fixing one small blind spot at a time until the trash bag itself becomes the honest measure of how well the week actually went. You don't need to buy less food. You need a kitchen that actually uses what it already has. Now I want to hear from you. Open your fridge right now and tell me honestly, how many items in there have you completely forgotten about? Tell me the number in the comments. And if this changed how you think about your own kitchen, send it to whoever in your house keeps buying a second jar of something you already own 2 of, and maybe suggest doing the monthly door audit together before the next one quietly turns into a third. We'll see you in the next one, and good luck with that door audit. It's more revealing than most people expect.